All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Time to finally start actually making some progress on this. So what I like to do first is to get the bridge in place. And before you can do that, you have to set up the ground wire that's going to be grounding the pot to the bridge. And you'll see this little hole right here that is obviously different from the rest of these. That is what's going to lead your ground wire down through that hole down there. And so what you have to do, obviously you want to figure out exactly how long to go down here. And I have it, I don't know, maybe 7-8 inches, just to give me some slack. I can always cut some off later if I have to. But what I did, I don't know if that'll zoom in on that or not, but let me see. There we go. You have to fan it out so that when the bridge is fully seated on here, it's not like raised up. It doesn't have like a hump or anything. And I might actually cut some more of the shielding off of that just to give a little bit more. But you want it to basically just lie flat on there and just get a good amount of contact on there. And obviously you don't want it so much that it's like sticking out from underneath or anything like that. You just want it to rest there. To kind of show you, sorry, it's kind of hard to do this and hold the camera with one hand, but you get the idea. So for example, if I was gonna leave it this length, I'd leave it right about like that. You want to keep it away from the string holes, but it would look something sort of like that. But like I said, I'm going to cut that just a little bit longer just to make it a little bit easier. And then after that, I might take a picture of this as is just to kind of give me an idea of how this was set up originally, because usually they're pretty close to where you'd want it to be. But unfortunately all these saddles have to be moved up so that we can fit the screws through the bottom underneath the saddles and into place right there. So I'm not going to show that on camera just because, what's the point really? But that's basically all you really need to do. You do want to just make sure that's fanned out. I forget exactly what gauge wire this is. I think it's maybe like 20 or 22. Nothing special. Just a stranded wire. Nothing solid, because solid, like I said, is just going to leave the bridge kind of humped up, and you want it to lay flat and smooth. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll start the video back up. Alright, so here's a little tip I'm going to give you. When trying to get this... That wasn't supposed to happen. Alright, so a little tip I'm going to give you here. Hopefully nothing falls off again this time. When trying to get these bottom screws, the mounting screws, into the bridge, I really have to suggest not taking these saddles all the way off, because dealing with these springs can be a bit of a pain. So if you loosen these just enough, until they would pretty much be ready to fall off, you can definitely get these screws in there and very carefully line it up on your bridge. Obviously I'm not going to do it while holding the camera because I don't want to scratch anything, but that's my preferred way of doing things. I mean, you could take these all off if you really want to, but I really don't think it's worth it. Sometimes it's really easy to lose these springs or lose the screw, and I've done it before, and it's not fun. So that's a little something I do typically, so consider that if you're doing a similar build. Alright, here we go. Alright, so I got the bridge on there. Like I said, there's really nothing too special about it. You do want to try and make sure that you're not scuffing up the bridge plate. I've done that before on some painted bridges, like some black bridges. But this one seems to be pretty tough, so I haven't really had any issues with that. But this is the ground wire like I was talking about, and if you give it a little bit of a tug, you can see it's not going anywhere because this is down pretty tight. So you'll see this this blue tape I have here, and what I use this for is basically just a marking place. I mean, I don't have to do it all the way up the body, but what I like to do is I line it up so that the bridge, it's going to be able to mark basically right where the middle of the bridge is, which would be right here, right between these two saddles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that mark and follow it all the way down to down right here. And that's where I'm going to obviously mark where I'm going to put the first strap button. This little guy. So what I tend to do is I'll take a piece of paper, just like a flat piece of paper, and I'll line up that edge, just like pretty much right in line with the middle of those two saddles there. And I'll follow it down, I'll curve this down, and I know that that's basically going to be right in line with where I want to be. You can obviously adjust the strap button or wherever, put it, a little further down or further up, depending on how you like it. Some guitars, like I think some Carvins will do like 2 buttons, just actually I don't know why they do that, but yeah, I see them in different spots all the time, but I like to keep it just right in the middle there. So like I said, I'm going to mark the spot using that after I put the camera down, and I'll just make sure it's about halfway up. It's going to be somewhere like right there, and honestly, if I'm off just a little bit, it's not going to be a huge deal. You want to obviously find the right size drill bit. So here are my screws right here, and I just went with something that's just going to be a little bit smaller, just so I can still get some bite on there. So as you can see, just like that, there's just a little bit of extra teeth on each side there, and I might use like a little something to lube it up in there, or maybe I'll have to go up a size, but we'll see. This one should be good where I'm at. I'll obviously take this piece of tape off. That was just as like a little stopper marker that I used sometime in the past, but yeah. Let's do it. Alright, so I lined it up. I lined up my piece of paper on there, and I went all the way down here and just marked just a little square, what am I talking about? Little X. And I got my drill bit lined up here. And I'm going to go, maybe 3/4 of an inch in there, right around the length of the screw. I could, like I said before, use a little like piece of tape to mark how deep I want to go, but I'm not really worried about it because I know this whole section's solid anyway, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. Alright, so I drilled very carefully into the body. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to crack anything, obviously. I go in maybe a centimeter, and then, I'll pull it out. That's what she said. And just kind of clear the wood shavings that are in there, and I'll keep going just a little bit more, and just keep getting the shavings out of there, just so it's not getting bunched up in there. And take off the tape here. I like going with the tape on there just in case, something slips. It's just a little bit more added protection, just in case. And that's what it looks like. Like I said, I might have to go with a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger drill hole. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll see when I get there.